Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chassity. We read a lot of books, we do a lot of things. It's kind of the whole shtick. Now, you may be wondering, Chassity, is this the same outfit and hairstyle that we saw at the ending of the last two videos? Yes, it is, because I'm filming all of them at the exact same time. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, okay? Let's get ready for a new reading goal for the week, I guess. But a couple of years ago, I purchased a set of audiobooks for $4 hairs, and I have not listened to them yet. So I think that I should take you back in time to yesterday morning in my car and tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. Good morning. So I thought a lot about it, and I called my mom because, as we all know, my mom is my secondary brain cell. And I think what I'm going to do this week is listen to the Poppy Wars trilogy. I purchased the Poppy Wars trilogy on like Apple Books for like $4 a year or something ago. And I just never finished it. I started it. I loved what I got out of it, but I put it down for some reason and just never picked it back up. So according to the audiobook, it is 60 hours for all three. I'm going to see if I can finish the entire trilogy this week. We're reading the Poppy Wars. I'm having a great time. I made it about halfway through the first book yesterday, which I came home and Cody asked me if I was going to go sit on the porch and read. And my brain was a little bit fried. There's so much lore that's given to you in the first book. There's so much time that passes. I think it's a span of like 4 or 5 years from the start of the book to the midway point where things kind of like kick off and you're in it. But you are following Runine, who is an orphan from the like last Great War that was taken in by a couple of people who really don't care about her, don't really want her. She is very much viewed as a commodity. And when they try to sell her into a marriage so they can further their opium epidemic in their little small town, she decides that she is going to study until her 16th birthday to pass this test to get into a war college. The only war college that has free tuition is the highest of the high, the best of the best go there. She kind of has to get a perfect score. So she literally nearly kills herself studying for 2 years straight to get into this college. And what do you know? She gets in. That's kind of where everything kicks off and we hit the ground running. We're following her through her training and deciding what track she wants to follow. And she has to deal with a lot of the skepticism of her being a lowly farm girl from the outer regions. And she didn't really train for this her whole life like everyone else. But I'm having a great time. Her rival, Naja, love him. He's a hoot and a half. She also has a bestie who is like the only morally good character that you're gonna meet, I think. I am excited to continue on in the story. I don't know if I said this yesterday, but all three books are about 60 hours at normal speed. When I turned it on yesterday, it was 44 and a half at 1.5 speed. I'm about halfway through the very first book, so I'm kind of hoping I can finish the first book today. It is Tuesday. This video will end when I finish the Poppy Wars. This is a Poppy Wars reading vlog. Even if it takes me a little bit into next week, we'll get into that. Maybe I'll listen to it this weekend. I don't know. But I'm very excited. And also, I have to go to work.
She hasn't found Kate yet, though, right?
No, he's in the second division.
The second part
Are you
of that
talking
book?
about her friend from the school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in the second division,
Okay.
which was like his dream.
So, like, the second half of that book gets super up.
I'm unwell.
It's a little, like, it's funny because as a collective, everyone went to this book expecting, like, you know, politics, whatever. It's pretty gruesome.
It's way more gruesome, and it's way more... There's a word that I had in my brain earlier today when I was thinking about this book, but it's so much more than just like, I went into this book wholly expecting just a little like magical realism and like, oh, we're gonna talk to
No.
the
This is a
gods and
war book
key
series.
is actually magic. And it's about it. I was sitting here listening to it today, and I went, oh, I can't wait to read the rest of her book.
It's based off of China's actual history.
Mm.
But what's even crazier is this is technically like young adult, I think.
How is this young
Or
adult?
maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just thinking it was young adult because there's no like sexual content. But
It's not
definitely-
spicy. No
it's not
peppers.
spicy. But
I don't know. I'll have to look it up because
I feel like it's technically classified as young adult,
it shouldn't
but
be.
it's not.
It's
The
real.
themes are
It's
so-
real gruesome.
Maybe like
Maybe grotesque was the
maybe
word
like
I was looking
16
for.
and up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they call it young adult because it is written about a teenager.
Mm-hmm. And there isn't anything like inappropriate in that way.
Yeah.
One genocide against another. How did they balance on the scale of justice?
I finished the Poppy Wars. Here's the thing. I went into this for some reason thinking that this was like a YA magical realism. It's not. It's adult. And there's no sex. It's not spicy. But it's very gruesome. The last third of this book. It's a war. Like, yes, but R.F. Kuang does, for lack of a better word, a beautiful job depicting the cruelty and gruesome things that happen during war. There's a couple of times that I was like, I don't know if I can finish this today. I had to like take a beat. Once Rain gets to this military college, things start to speed up really quickly in her life, and war breaks out in the country, and she is sent off to do what she's trained for, essentially, as a shaman and help with this war. Now, did we think that calling on the god of the Phoenix was a great idea? Maybe not. All right. I'm literally just coming out of this battle, and I'm going to be starting the next book tomorrow. I need a little mental break. I think that if you're interested in reading the Poppy War series, the trilogy, I think you should definitely look up any kind of trigger warnings. It gets really brutal starting in chapter 21. Like up until chapter 21, like pretty like normal. 21 hits and it gets like horrific. But I think she did a really good job of depicting the brutality and the gruesome things that happen during a war like this, because essentially nobody has any kind of morality. And I'm only through the first book, and I've decided that Katai is the only character that is morally good. Okay? Everyone else has very almost chaotic neutral vibes, like they're just here to watch the world burn. So I don't really know. There's a quote in this book that I wrote down, and it was, I don't even have my phone on me, I can't look at it, but it was, I'm going to paraphrase, but it was along the lines of, we cease to be children when you put a sword in our hands. And I was like, pfft, because I also think that R.F. Kuang so far has done a really good job of keeping with the theme that they are children. When this is all going on, Runin and Katai are 19 years old. They're barely adults. We meet Rune when she's 14. And you can kind of see that in her decision making and her anger and her like wishy-washy vibes about the gods. But they're decisions that a young adult would make in like vengeance and retaliation And there's not a lot of thought of the people that it will affect, only how it affects her and her benefit. And you can definitely see that in the last chapter of this book. But tomorrow I start the Dragon Song, I think is what it's called. I'll correct myself when I actually start the book. But 2 days and 1 book down, and holy crap, is it a ride? I just finished Dragon Republic. I'm unwell. I'm going to put a timestamp probably right here. I will tell you where you can jump to if you don't want any spoilers. But for the time being, holy mess! The fact that Najah, the way he betrays her by literally stabbing Rin in the back when she thinks that they're having this beautiful moment and maybe he'll kiss her, and then he stabs and she's imprisoned and she's going to be sold off to not the first but the third scientific discovery, and they're going to poke and prod and see why she is the way that she is. I'm dumbfounded. His father is cruel and evil, and the fact that he played her like a fiddle. Oh, and let's not forget that Nadja is also a shaman, but nobody knows because it's a big secret. But Dad wanted the power, and he's not getting shipped off to be dissected. No, they're going to try to fix him. And then the amount of like secondary character deaths in this book broke me. I literally was just sitting on the couch sobbing, listening to this book. I am unwell. The story is incredible. I wouldn't say a good time. I'm having a time. RF Kwong, I want to ask, who hurt you? Are you okay? The story's incredible. I have so much empathy for Rin. Also, book 2, The Dragon Republic specifically, you can see the blatant racism so much more in this book. Even in their own country, the conversation between the Northern and the Southerners, specifically based on the pigment of their skin. Southerners have a darker skin complexion than Northerners. They call them like horrible things, and you could never amount to anything because you're just a lowly, I feel like it's a slur. And then when we're introduced to the Western assist, like people are coming from the West to help them, it is crazy the way they depict like Western culture in this book. Not inaccurate to a degree. This particular land is polytheistic, meaning they believe in multiple gods. Rin gets her power from a god. It's kind of the whole thing. And then the Western civilization comes over to minister and offer aid, but only if they can prove that they are an intelligent society, because even the Western culture looks down on them as less than human. We aren't going to help you. We aren't going to give you assistance unless you can prove that you are capable of intelligent thought. They're human beings, by the way, but they believe in a monotheistic, which is like Christianity, one God. But the way that they communicate that is, as a Christian, made me a little bit hurt my feelings a little bit, because I was like, we're not all awful, but they come at their polytheism like it's chaos. They can see the proof of the magic, literal magic, and they're like, no, that's demonic. I'm like, okay, bro. There's a couple of times in this book I got angry and I got hot and red in the face. R.F. Kuang is an incredible author. Let me be very clear. You can also see in this second installment of this story how much they are children. Like they're 20, they're 19, 20. One girl is literally, it's been 11. We met when we were 11 and it's been 10 years. I'm like, oh, you just turned 21. Y'all are like barely coming into the world and you're fighting wars and running garrisons and and like one becomes the big strategist guy. And I'm like, you're children, but you can see it in their inability to like stick with something. I might not be communicating this well, but you see like almost that wishy-washy, like they're being taken advantage of by these adults because they are trusting. It's so well written. It's so well written. I'm starting the next book tomorrow. I have 15 hours and 51 minutes left. It is in no way a romance. Quite frankly, Ren has never known peace or love in her whole life. Mom, Mary, I don't think you would like this book. I just don't. Me and my emotional support Squishmallow are going to go sit on the couch and take a deep breath, and we will be starting the next one tomorrow morning.
I just won my lost it.
I'm always so happy to eat here. I want to give you a little bit of an update because I made it 42% of the way through the last book yesterday while I was at work. And then as you saw, I had date night, and so we went and got real good food and real good drink. If you're ever in the like Bentonville area, you should go to Scotch and Soda or Loveless. Incredible. I love them. Anyway, this book be wild. Daji comes back in a major way that I was not anticipating. Ren is once again, every time you think you can trust a man in one of these books, you are proved wrong. You know what man I trust? Katai. That's who I trust in these books. I don't even know what I can say right now. I'm having a lot of emotions. I will either finish it today or like early tomorrow. According to my friend who's already read it, she hopes I finish it while I'm at work so that way she can watch me cry. I don't like, so much is going on in this third book. So we start the third book and Rin loses a hand because of her escape from the previous book. And she kills a man and is made the general of like an army. And she's marching on the south to try to like reclaim her homeland where she grew up. And they make it back to Connie when Najah comes out of nowhere and attacks him. And he has way more skills over his shamanism. Like he's been practicing making it rain, like literally making it rain out of nowhere to try and capture her. And instead they get Katai. And then Suji, who we thought we could trust because he was helping her run this army and be successful, turns her over. And they're like, you know what? We could have peace if we just give you up. So we're going to do that. And then they decide to take her to the mountain where all the shamans go when they lose their mind, to be encased in stone. They break out Master June, and the three of them, turns out it was a double cross. So you've got Daji, June, and Ren all making their way back up north to try to rescue Katai from Najah. And that's where I left off. And I'm unwell. So let's go into work and read some more of this book. So it's been a few days, but I did finish the Poppy War trilogy. Okay. What a roller coaster. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to put a little timestamp. And if you want to skip the spoilers, you can jump, because I'm about to just give you the whole plot of the last book and the ending. So I'm going to give you a second. The last book, Entirely Insane, we are following Rin, Katai, and Najah as they are continuing this war. But at the end of the second book, Najah turned on Rin and was going to give her over to not the Muganese, but the Westerners. Katai breaks her out of prison, and then she ends up losing a hand by hand. Like, what? Just by hand? And we are with her as she's, for lack of a better word, like slowly losing her mind, trying to outmaneuver Najah. They have this big battle. She like saves the South from kind of themselves, but also she thinks she's saving them from Najah. Turns out the Muganese are still in the South and torturing and killing people. So she like rallies this army in her hometown and then books it up north to take out Najah. She's like, this is my city. This is my country. I'm going to rule it because you guys keep screwing it up. She gets up there. Her and Najah fight. They defeat the dragon that gave Najah his powers because, like, guess what? He's also a shaman, but he didn't want to be. It was kind of forced on him, which is a whole different plot line. Najah actually, like, kind of lets her win to escape this. They work together to kill the dragon, and then he, like, disappears, and she takes control of the country. They do have this very sweet moment. Her, Katai, Najah, who are all sitting out on this beach in the dead of night. And it's this like unspoken truce for the few hours that they're together where they're just high school kids again. They're back in, like, it's like they're back in school and they're just having a moment of what have we gotten ourselves into? What did we do? And then she takes his home. Najah starts like kind of screwing with her head. They end up going back down south as like this war parade of like, we won. And she decides that she's going to set up shop there because that's where she's from and that's where the new capital should be. They all kind of hate her because there's no food. It's a nationwide famine. They haven't had food in months because of this war. But they have grown poppy plants. And she's like, these poppy plants will save us. We can sell these, get money, buy food from other countries, like a trading system. Well, they're mad at her. And so they light the poppies on fire. So there's just this burning field of poppy plants. Wild. Also, what a mental visual. Katai finally kind of convinces her to go meet with Najah to try to form some sort of trading or something with the people she literally just beat. Like she just won a war with them and she was like, we need their help. They have food. And in her mind, Katai is working against her with Najah. She thinks everyone has turned on her and she's got to fight this alone. And she's like, I will not lose this battle. They go to meet with Najah. He basically is like, hey, they said they'll give us food and you can rule the country, do whatever you want. But these are the stipulations. And they're kind of like crappy stipulations. One is that she can no longer be a shaman and she has to help them hunt down anyone who practices shamanism. And she was like, no. They get into this last battle and Katai gets hurt and him and Rin, I cried. I was unwell. Him and Rin have this moment of almost mutual understanding that he has always loved her and will always love her. He is her oldest friend. And if she dies, he will die. And so she, if I remember correctly, she takes Najah's sword and stabs it through her own chest, killing both her and Katai and leaving Najah to deal with the aftermath of all of the things. Run the country how he wants, make whatever trading he wants, just save their people. Because at the end of the day, they are her countrymen. She was fighting for them. Overall series, I am going to give it a 5-star. I think this was an incredible read. R.F. Kuang hit it out of the park. It was so beautifully written, like the way that things are described, and you can feel the anger and the resentment, and you can feel the like betrayal and the lost child like syndrome that Rin's got going on. But you can also like feel her love for her friends and why she's doing all of this, I think she killed it. I am going to reiterate that I think that you should look up any kind of trigger warnings before you read this book. It is an adult novel. It is very gruesome. It's war. It's 3 books of war, and not fun little fantasy war where everybody fights a little battle, but like real, raw, guttural horrors that come with war. I think the conversation around Western versus Eastern religion and how that like Western community really came over and was like, you're wrong and I don't like what you're doing and you have to stop. She kind of demonized their whole like theology, which as a Christian, I was a little bit uncomfortable about because I knew like what was happening, but also I can see how that can be hurtful to people. For someone to look at you and say, your gods aren't real. My God's real, but yours aren't. Can be like mean. It's hurtful. So I think like the whole discussion, the whole book, incredible. I had such a like incredible time reading it. I couldn't put it down. I was looking forward to getting to the next one and listening to more of the audiobook. That being said, let's talk about the narrator. So the audiobook was narrated by Emily Wu Zeller, and I think she did an incredible job. It made it easy to understand. She didn't like speed through words that I definitely did not comprehend the first time and had to back up and go through. Her voice was very soothing and she really had a lot of inflection. You could tell who was speaking. She did a good job of making sure that her voices were different for each like character, so you really understood who was having the conversation at any given time. You were never left wondering like, okay, who said what now? Incredible job. I am a little gremlin, and I did not own the physical copies of the Poppy War trilogy. That can no longer be said. I loved this so much. This series was guttural, heartfelt, and for lack of a better word, beautiful. So, will I be making any pacts with any Phoenix gods from the South? No. No, I will not. But would I recommend Poppy Wars and the trilogy in its entirety to my friends and family? Yes, I would. That being said, thank you guys so much for coming along with me, hanging out and listening to some audiobooks. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't already, you should go ahead and subscribe. I post a video every Monday at noon. And if you hit the little bell icon, you'll be notified every time that goes live. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.